So nearly 4 weeks since the disappearance of the young missing teen Jay Slater, and on Monday human remains were found in the area where Jay Slater disappeared near the village of Masca. And Jay Slater's mother has said that the family's hearts are broken after the body found in Tenerife was confirmed to be his. We have a positive ID, and fingerprinting confirms that the body belongs to Jay Slater. The death was due to multiple traumas compatible with a fall in the mountainous area, which is what a spokesperson would later confirm on Tuesday. After almost a month of conspiracy and wild speculation both online through the media and social media, on Friday I put out a video of what my thoughts were on the case of Jay Slater. Taking everything into account, including the rumours too, the conclusion was that due to erratic behaviour from the night before, and this could have been through intoxication or substance abuse or both, that the reason why we had very strange questioning about that individual's behaviour that morning was due to the events that had taken place prior that night that had maybe led the individual to feel somewhat unsafe, uncomfortable around the people that he was with, that led him to take the direction in which he did. And unfortunately, due to the rural area in which Masca alone is, as well as the fact that Tenerife in itself is somewhat built on a volcano, toppled on with the fact that investigators as well as multiple search parties were having a really tough time through vegetation trying to find the body or find any whereabouts of the missing teen whatsoever, my suggestion was that I felt like Jay Slater had more than likely fallen into a chasm or had taken a substantial fall in a highly vegetated area in which was making the teen's body hard to locate. Many people thought Jay vanished on a yacht called Maruba or had multiple altercations that night that led to a disastrous morning, and I do think that there is some truth in the conspiracy. There may have been a potential reason in which Jay was uncomfortable going back to the apartment in which he stayed at the night prior. Jay had only just met these individuals and was only with them for merely just hours. Not only that, but we did have some videos of Jay Slater at the festival, and through these videos alone we can clearly see that the young individual was enjoying himself and more than likely highly intoxicated. Now, it's unknown if substances are key in this question here, and one of the reasons why the individuals might know each other is due to this kind of reason, and one of the reasons why TV investigators as well as some TikTokers and people close to the case have said that certain things don't need to reach the public eye. Merely this just means that it's going to add more fuel to the fire. There will be corroboration from things like CCTV as well as third-party witnesses that did obviously put the individual Jay Slater in the location in which he was found near. One of the people that saw Jay Slater in the morning was the neighbours to the apartment in which he stayed at. Jay Slater was seen at a bus stop by the owner of a cafe in which he told him that the bus would be arriving at 10 AM. Jay was then seen by her 25 minutes later walking in the opposite direction, and with Jay pinging his location to his friends, this too corroborated an account of where Jay Slater might possibly be, which is why the investigators and people searching for Jay Slater specifically narrowed their search efforts down to that area. But I believe that after a long day of potential substance abuse as well as intoxication, that the individual's erratic behaviour and interpretation of events as to what he should do next were the events in which would lead to Jay Slater's misfortune. I'd also spoken about something that's quite important called the misinformation effect. This is when people mix fact with rumour, and the reason why they do this is as over time they learn new information about a case or whatever it may be, regardless of whether that new information is rumour or fact, they attach this to the original memory, and it almost becomes embedded into the original memory as if it's always been there. When it hasn't, it's actually been implemented later on, which was something that seemed to over time be happening here. Confirmed information had rumours attached to it that then blurred the lines between what was real and what wasn't, and this led to multiple theories and conspiracy theories as to what people thought happened to Jay Slater regarding his disappearance. But I do believe that in Jay Slater's case there are a lot of small truths in the bigger picture, meaning that there probably were some elements of truth in these conspiracies, but the conspiracies in themselves had snowballed into something much bigger, and that's why some information that was prevalent wasn't information that needed to be given out to the public, because this would only add more fuel to the fire and create more speculation. Yes, these individuals could have been involved in some kind of substances, could have been doing all sorts of dodgy things on the island, but it didn't necessarily negate to any reasoning as to why the individual disappeared the next morning. It was merely or simply just a part of the event. But conspiracy theories and speculation are something that we believe in due to a combination of personality traits and motivations, including like relying strongly on your intuition, feeling a sense of antagonism and superiority towards others, and perceiving threats in their environment. Our brain is something that's very hard to navigate, and it does things without us even knowing it's doing so. And one of these things is like a self-defense protection mechanism, where the reason why we have motivations into some theories or speculation is because without us realizing it, our brain creates a sense of distress when the unknown is something that we can't explain. So it almost creates its own conclusion in order to de-stress stress itself. We have very ambiguous brains, and the unknown to us is something that is just uncertain. Our brains don't like this and needs to access and divulge into the information so that we can further analyse it to give ourselves a more concrete explanation. Jay Slater's case beared a lot of resemblances to a case that I was actually active on. Due to the family's privacy and discretion, I can't actually speak about what it was, but giving an overview from the outside, it's really interesting to watch online and through the media speculation arise and unfold when you're there firsthand, understanding it through different accounts. Similar to Jay Slater's case, even though police resources spent about $250,000 in searching for the individual over a span of just 5 days before calling it off, they never located the individuals in which he was last with, which was crucial information to us in finding and locating that body and bringing it back to the UK. And sometimes you just can't fight the scientific evidence. We had cellular location as to where that individual's last known location was, similar to what they had in Jay Slater's case, which is why they were focused on one specific area. Because what they are working from, or what you are working from, is just simply breadcrumbs. You are working from small droplets of information prior to what led to a much bigger event. And it's really hard because you will get roadblocks at one point. There will be small breadcrumbs of evidence that just stop, and then it is your job to then find where those pieces then were left over. The TV investigator Mark Williams Thomas really spoke heavily about exposing certain bits and having significant information in the case, but again couldn't divulge into what this information was, but specified that there was no third party involvement in his eyes. That was crucial bits of information. Without saying it, he's technically saying it. That yes, there are dodgy events that are clearly unfolding on the island, and these dodgy events create a lot of complications for us regarding the investigation. But the probability of the festival, drinking, potential substances, no sleep, a young 19-year-old's mindset, as well as the fact that he probably encountered erratic behaviour due to, even though he could have just waited merely hours for a bus or got a lift from someone that he was just acquainted with, the individual decided to go in the complete opposite direction. For whatever reason this was, whether he was trying to get to the coast or not, he then rang one of his friends stating that he was cut on a cactus and in a ditch somewhere. This gave the idea as to vegetation being somewhere in which Jay was, which 4 weeks later would be an area that was hard to negate, but a helicopter as well as rescue operators winched from the area would pull Jay Slater's body. Now I put out a video yesterday stating that they'd found Jay Slater's body. Some people had said that it wasn't directly confirmed yet, and I had replied stating that unless it was somebody else's body inside of Jay Slater's clothes with Jay Slater's possessions in an area as to which Jay Slater was last known to have been at, then, you know, fair enough, but they have to obviously then go and confirm that. There would have been so many things at bay, like just the simple elements alone, humidity in the area in which he fell, the traumas in which he sustained from falling, so the injuries and impact as to what the individual took may have left that body in a very distorted state. There are loads of things at bay there, but I don't really want to go into too much detail about it. I'd rather that you kind of make your own mind up about that one. But as you can imagine, they do have to then go and confirm that this is the individual's body, which at that point it was almost confirmed to us. But will things like conspiracies and issues regarding Jay Slater's disappearance still arise? Well, yes, of course they will. Because many of the decisions that we make as individuals and as a society actually depend on accurate information. Our psychological biases and predispositions make us vulnerable to falsehood, and as a result, misinformation is more likely to be believed, remembered and later recalled even after we learn this information is false. Not only that, but we also have defense mechanisms, which is kind of like counterintuitive in itself, because the mechanism is meant to protect the psyche of the denialist against like mentally disturbing facts and ideas. And this disturbance is actually called a word that I hate saying. It's called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. There we go. Which is what that is called in psychology terms. But will the theories, conspiracies and speculation stop? Probably not. They'll just move on to a different case. Such cases like the Idaho 4's quadruple homicide, Karen Reed's murder trial, YNW Melly's double homicide, Alec Baldwin's Rust incident, and the fact that Donald Trump was just shot at and Secret Service intelligence did pretty much nothing, even though there's multiple footage of individuals pointing out to officers that there is an individual lying down in a very suspicious place. It seemed like they had a lot of time to actually do something before one of the most craziest photos of 2024 was taken, which was Donald Trump with his fist in the air, blood pouring down his face after he'd just been shot at. But regarding Jay Slater's case, it seems that the family at this current time are just looking for privacy. Obviously are shocked and are finding it hard coming to terms with the information about the body that's been discovered being confirmed to be that of their son Jay Slater. Anyway, that's it from me. There's just a few cognitive reasons as to why I our brain does certain things, and why so many conspiracy theories arose in the past 4 weeks. It's not unusual with cases like this. It's exactly what makes a high profile case high profile. Multiple people go missing all the time. I mean, the scale in America is just unbelievable on its own, yet there are certain elements to a case that make it so much bigger than every other case. One like Jay Slater's being that we had a drip feed of information over the course of a few weeks. This leads people to invest themselves into a case as if it's a murder style mystery, almost like a whodunit type deal with multiple theories branching off about what happened to the individual. But for now, it seems like after the body's been located and the area in which it's been located at, it would be misfortune that led to Jay Slater's accidental death. Love and support goes out to the friends and family of Jay Slater. I hope in finding the young teen's body can give the answers in which they've been looking for over the course of the past 4 weeks. But if you haven't already, then feel free to like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel, and hit that post notification bell if you want to stay up to date with anything regarding true crime cases. If not, have a great day and thanks for watching.